Hey everyone, my name is Harkvlog. I'm a techno and house music DJ and producer, and today I'm going to be updating you guys by reflecting on the first 2 months of 2021. Let's go. At the start of 2021, I set myself some semi-difficult but semi-realistic goals for myself. These were release 6 tracks of varying sounds or genres, upload at least 6 YouTube videos, get a proper job in the music industry or get some work experience that will help lead to a job in the music industry, reach 700 followers on Instagram, reach 100 subscribers on YouTube, play a DJ set in London, and improve my French speaking. I felt that these were realistic enough to achieve, but only if I put in the work to actually set out to achieve them. They're also the sort of goals that are going to help me grow as an artist and hopefully reach new people with my music. Like, for example, releasing 6 songs this year will definitely help me grow, and I'll learn a lot by going through the whole process of making and finishing and releasing a song 6 times in 12 months. I'll be referring back to these goals occasionally and discussing how I'm getting on with trying to accomplish them. Anyway, introduction over. Let's get into talking about what I've done so far this year, starting with my first single of the year, The Hive Mind. Now, I had issues getting this released through Ditto Music, my distributor. I submitted it for release about a month before, but then 5 days before release I still hadn't heard anything from Ditto. I had no confirmation at all that it had been approved or sent to the stores. I also wasn't sure if it was going to get released on time or at all, so I had to get in contact with them and ask sort of what was going on. Luckily they got my release approved and sent to the stores the following day, which was nice of them, but it was a little frustrating that I had to ask to get this done. This made the promotion of the song difficult as I couldn't really plan anything in advance, so the whole release sort of felt a bit rushed because I wasn't sure if my release date was actually going to be my release date, which was a shame because I had a friend remix the single and I wanted this to be a success for not only myself but for him as well. I tried to post more things after the song had been released to get more traffic to my smart link rather than trying to build up hype beforehand and posting on social media about the release before. I'm unsure if this worked or not. I was going with the idea that my followers aren't super invested in sort of what I'm doing right now, so they might not care too much if they see a post about something that's upcoming, but they might care if a song is already out so they can take action immediately. This is something that I want to experiment with sort of with my future releases, whether it's better to build up hype beforehand about an upcoming release or post about something that's already out now that they can already take action about, rather than seeing something and thinking, oh, this is going to happen in a week's time, and they might forget about it. Another thing I need to do as well is find different ways of promoting the song visually. My Instagram feed does look a little bit overwhelmed with sort of the same image being posted constantly. Now, talking about the music itself, the songs were definitely really good. It was nice to have a remix of part of this release. This gave me an extra thing to talk about within the promotion of this within the release, which I felt definitely helped. Going forward, maybe I could get another remix done for me, or I could go and do a remix myself. The artwork was really nice as well. I thought it had sort of a nice aesthetic to it, sort of the grey sort of metallic colours I thought definitely matched the vibe of the song. And now that I've just finished my artwork for my next coming release, which will be next month, I feel like I've sort of stumbled across sort of my own style of artwork. I think it will probably become quite clear once you see the artwork reveal for my next single. Now moving on to some sort of analytics over the last couple of months. Because the release of The Hive Mind felt a little bit rushed, the streaming numbers have been quite low. I'm really hoping that this is going to change for my next release, as my next release I'm planning sort of a very unique, I don't know if it's unique, but it's certainly very different. I've got a ton of content lined up, and it's basically just going to be a case of trying a load of stuff, see what works, and then sort of refine it for the next release. I'm definitely taking the idea of throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. My YouTube channel has been getting some good organic numbers, especially from my BIM review video. It seems that YouTube's algorithm is actually suggesting it to people, and it's getting clicked on. At this stage, while the watch time is reasonably low on the video, probably because it's a 20 to 30 minute video, and obviously not many people are going to watch a video that long, it's also good to know that YouTube is willing to help suggest my video to users. Compare that with Spotify, that does very little to suggest sort of 99% of the music that's on the platform. And sort of once you upload it, it's sort of there, and it's very rarely going to get sort of suggested to other users. Whereas with YouTube, you search for a video and you've got tons of videos there, and you go and watch a video, and there's a tons more suggestions. YouTube wants to keep you on the platform, and it does it very well. Whereas Spotify, you listen to the music that you want to listen to, and then that's sort of it. it doesn't really keep you hooked in as well, which is great for someone like me who is trying to push YouTube a bit more and try and create more content for the platform. This is certainly encouraging going forward, as the effort I'm putting into making YouTube videos will be rewarded by suggesting it to users, providing that the quality of the video is of a good standard. It also seems like I found a good topic to discuss with that video. I would definitely look to try and find some more external topics to discuss in future videos, as it seems it will help me reach sort of new people. Now, shout out to one completely random person in Estonia. Someone has actually paid actual money to download my song Monkey Resonance off of Juno. It's officially my first sale. It's also very telling how one single digital download has managed to double my total earnings that I've earned so far from my music. It's also made me appreciate how actually buying even if it's just a 99p single, actually buying that song is far, far better for the artist to actually make a living from their music rather than streaming. Streaming royalty versus actual downloads, even if the store is taking a percentage of that download, it is still way better. If you really want to support an artist, go and download their music. If 100 people download one single for 99p, that person is making, minus the cut from the stores, they're still making 70, 80, 90 pound. If 100 people stream one single once, they're going to earn less than £1, depending on the store, of course, but still, it's been very eye-opening seeing how one digital download can boost my total revenue from my music so much. Also, I've managed to get some traction from several African countries on Boomplay Music, which I think is a African-based streaming service similar to Spotify, Apple, or whatever, but only based in certain African countries. It's very satisfying when your music reaches sort of new parts of the world that you would never expecting. It's also made even more satisfying that when streaming platforms are helping your music by making it easy to discover you. It seems highly unlikely that I've managed to get 16 plays from 4 different countries that came from people intentionally searching for my music in the search bar. The way that Boomplay must be set up means that the music, or my music, is being suggested to the listeners and they are actually listening to it. Also, the way that people use Boomplay Music might be slightly different to how we use Spotify, so the way they consume music might be different. However it is, it's really good that a site like Boomplay, for example, is managing to suggest my music to people somehow and it's getting listened to. Whether they like the songs or not, I don't know. I probably will never know. But it's good to know that my music is out in Africa and people are listening to it. Now, moving on to a slightly more creative subject, the music that I've been working on recently. Now, at the moment, I have 2 very synth-heavy techno tracks in the works. There's lots of arpeggiators, lots of melodies happening. One is almost finished and will probably get released quite soon, I'm hoping. And the other, at the moment, is just a 16-bar loop at this stage, but I think we'll be able to get developed very quickly. It's sort of got an Oscar Mulero style to it. Now, it seems like I tend to focus more on creating synth loops when making techno, with sort of some atmosphere underneath. I haven't really found myself doing more minimal stuff. Maybe this is just me sort of subconsciously finding my style and sound, or maybe it's just a phase that I'm going through and maybe I'll come across another technique that will lead me down another rabbit hole of production. But it seems like the tracks that I'm making at the moment, I tend to build the tracks around an arpeggiated lead or some sort of lead melody or something that's quite repetitive, quite hypnotic, but that's how I tend to build the track. And then underneath I'll put some percussion, some atmosphere, but it's the focal point of the tracks I seem to be making right now is some sort of synth line. I've also got a very summery, sort of chilled out 808 house style track with some cool sort of vocal chops. You can see a preview here. Whilst I'm not using synths for the melody, I'm using a vocal sample, but it's still the same sort of concept around having the main focus of the track be this one main thing and then backed up by drums and atmosphere, rather than doing something more minimal, for example, where the main focus of the track is very much split between all the percussion, the very small percussion, maybe a very short melody that you might have going on, or a bass line. It's also quite nice to focus on some house grooves for a change within my production. I must admit, it does feel more satisfying coming up with some groovy house compared to more sort of pounding hard techno. Now, what music have I been listening to recently? Well, as mentioned in the previous episode, I'm still enjoying a lot of dub techno at the moment. A couple of Deep Chords albums have been on repeat lately. That sort of super atmospheric and analog aesthetic is something that I'd love to recreate in my tracks, but I think I'm a long way off fully understanding how that kind of sound and aesthetic is produced. Joris Vaughn's YouTube channel has got some great techno mixes on there, some dub techno, some minimal, some acid techno, all vinyl mixes as well. It's been great listening to all those mixes and getting some new musical ideas for my productions, and also some new songs that I can go and take and put in my sets. Now, speaking of sets and DJs and mixing and all that, DJs, I've got a question for you. Where do you get your music and how do you buy it? This is something I'm looking into at the moment as I now understand and appreciate what it means to actually sell and make money from your music. So I want to go down the route of doing and getting my music properly. So to the DJs that actually buy their music, how do you do it? Do you buy just what you need for an upcoming set? Do you buy a lot of tracks at once and give yourself some more options for when you're DJing, but at a greater expense to your wallet? Do you get sent a lot of music for free by other DJs trying to promote themselves? Do you dig through SoundCloud looking for free downloads? You know, how do you do it? I'd love to know. So if you're a DJ that's watching this, leave a comment and sort of tell me how you buy your music. Because I'm unsure as if I should be going headfirst and building up a big library at once, but spending a lot of money, or should I be a bit more selective with it and only really pick and buy the tracks that I want, or should I be spending loads of time digging through SoundCloud trying to find free downloads? How do I go about this, as I'm really unsure at the moment. Now, moving on to the final section of this video, looking at my social media. Recently, there's been a consistent theme to what I've been putting on social media, specifically my Instagram stories. I've been building a Lego Technic Ferrari, which you can see here. It's been quite satisfying to post about something consistent on social media, and it sort of feels like I'm doing social media right. Granted, it does help when you have something physical and immediately recognizable to show off to people visually. I guess it's a little more difficult to show off music on social media, or sort of show off music production on social media, compared to showing off Lego, which is immediately recognizable. I've also been uploading to Reels and TikTok, doing videos showing off each stage of me building this Lego car, but the views from both TikTok and Reels haven't been that great. I've only been roughly getting around 150 views per video so far, and I've uploaded 3 of them. Considering how many views other videos I've made for TikTok have got, I was sort of a little bit surprised that they haven't gotten more. The technical quality of the videos are fine, and you know, they're on a par with other viral videos that you would see, but maybe it's just the way that I'm presenting them could be better, or maybe I'm not using the right hashtags, or maybe a Lego Ferrari car is a little too niche and maybe I'm just expecting a little bit too much. Also, speaking of Reels, Instagram Reels, I have noticed all of my Reels sort of slowly increasing in views. Now, I know Instagram did change their algorithm and they've been pushing Reels a lot more to compete with TikTok, and I have noticed my views getting or increasing, even some of my older ones from months ago. They have been increasing steadily, much more than sort of in January, but in February they have been increasing. So I think whatever Instagram has done with Reels, with their new algorithm change, it seems like Reels is actually going to be a genuine competitor to TikTok. Now, in 2021 so far, I haven't really been keeping to any sort of posting schedule for specifically Instagram. I've tried to plan some posts in advance, but working 4 days a week, making music, entertaining my girlfriend means that social media content sort of falls down my list of priorities. So whenever I do post, it's usually pretty sporadic, and unfortunately it means that I'm not growing as fast as I'd like. I was fortunate to have a week off work at the beginning of February, and I had some Instagram content scheduled for most days during this time, and my follower count did actually grow by a surprising amount during this period. My account must have had some digital momentum, I guess, or whatever you want to call it or justify it as. And obviously during this period I was reaching the right people and grew because of it. But once I went back to work the following week, all that momentum sort of stopped, and I stopped gaining the followers. Unfortunately, it's a cruel game that I'm choosing to play with trying to balance so much at once, but unfortunately it's sort of a necessary evil if I want to be successful with my music in 2021. Now, as I previously mentioned, I have got a new release coming up specifically in March. So I will have to spend more time making the social media content for this and sort of pushing that slightly higher up my list of priorities. So yeah, making the social media content for my upcoming release might have to be a higher priority than making music. Despite my music being sort of the main focal point of everything I do, my social media content might have to be more important than that, maybe just for the next month. I don't think this is a specifically bad thing, as it will hopefully lead to my new release making sort of a bigger splash on release day and will hopefully reach a lot of new people because of it. So I think that just about wraps up this video. As I said, I have a new upcoming single coming out at the end of March. Be sure to follow me on social media, specifically Instagram and TikTok, if you want to see all of the unique content that I've got coming up for my next coming release. It's going to be very different as it's sort of themed and based around a movie character and a cocktail. It's going to be a lot of work, but I'm really looking forward to sort of getting stuck into that. And I'm hoping that it's really going to propel me in the right direction to getting my music in front of new and hopefully the right people as well. I'll also be doing a full review of my release strategy for my upcoming single. So if you want to see me sort of discuss and sort of go over how each piece of content performs and what I'm going to be doing again different, what I'm going to be doing again for the next release, or if I'm going to do anything different, be sure to follow me. No, subscribe to me on YouTube, and that review video will be straight in your sub box. Anyway, I think that's definitely it now. So bye.